All right. Let's unlock some elbow pain relief today.
Sounds good.
This deep dive is like having a personal trainer and mobility expert right here with us.
Yeah.
We're going deep into some excerpts from a text called Pasted Text.
All right.
And, cool. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's got some really interesting solutions you won't want to miss.
I'm excited.
We're talking VooDoo flossing.
Oh, yeah.
Some smashing techniques that sound kind of intense.
Yeah.
And even some partner work.
That's right. And you know what's really fascinating about this text?
What's that?
It emphasizes tricep and forearm flexibility.
Okay.
Not just for healthy elbows, but for overall movement, too.
So you're saying even if I don't feel any tightness in my triceps or forearms, they could still be affecting my elbows?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Think about it.
Okay.
Tight triceps.
Yeah.
They can limit arm extension.
Okay.
And that impacts everything.
Yeah.
From overhead movements to basic exercises.
Give me an example.
Like push presses.
Ah.
Okay. And then if your forearms are always clenched, that can create tension.
Okay.
All the way up to your elbows.
Oh, wow.
And even beyond.
Okay, so if someone's having elbow pain or limited range of motion, could be those muscles.
It could be.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm already rethinking my whole warm-up.
Really?
So let's jump into some solutions from Pasted Text. First up, elbow voodoo.
Ooh.
Sounds a little intimidating, I have to admit.
It does sound a little mysterious, right?
Yeah.
But honestly, it's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
And it has great results.
All right.
So elbow voodoo, or VooDoo flossing, as it's actually called, it involves wrapping a band above and below the elbow.
So it's just like compression then?
Well, it's more than just squeezing.
Oh, okay.
That compression helps blood flow.
Okay.
And tissue mobility.
Gotcha.
Which is great for tennis elbow.
Interesting.
It can make a big difference in pain.
Really?
And you get that supple movement back in the joint.
Could this be related to fascia at all?
Oh, that's a good thought.
Yeah.
The text doesn't really get into fascia.
Right.
But it could be why it works so well.
Okay.
That compression and movement maybe releases fascial restrictions.
Interesting.
And gets those muscle layers gliding properly again.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So tell me more about the technique.
Sure.
Does the pasted text give us any specific instructions?
It does. It really emphasizes proper wrapping technique.
Okay.
So not too tight, not too loose.
Okay.
And you got to work through a full range of motion while you're wearing that band.
Give me some examples.
So the text mentions rotating the elbow towards the ground.
Okay.
Pressing your palm against a surface to extend the arm. And even using a partner to get that full range, that partner element.
The Superfriend, as the text calls them.
Right.
Why is having a partner important?
Well, if you're in pain, a partner can help you get that full range of motion.
Okay.
Safely and effectively.
Okay.
Without pushing too hard.
That makes sense.
They can give resistance, support.
Yeah.
And even help you find those areas where you're really restricted.
So it's like a spotter for your mobility.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
But couldn't you just use a wall or something?
You could.
Yeah.
But a partner can give you feedback and adjustments
that
a wall can't do.
Okay.
Plus, the text mentions that using a partner for some movements, like extending the arm overhead, gives you a more controlled stretch.
So communication's key then.
Oh, yeah.
Like a little higher, a little lower. Okay, right there.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
And it's really important to listen to your body.
Of course.
And not push through pain.
Right.
The text even suggests having a safe word with your partner.
Okay.
So you can stop things if they get too intense.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Now, before we move on, how often should you do this VooDoo flossing?
Well, the text doesn't say how often.
Okay.
So you should experiment a little.
Okay.
See what feels good for you.
All right.
You can try adding it to your warm-up or cool-down.
Okay.
Maybe a few times a week.
Gotcha.
And just pay attention to how your elbows feel.
This elbow voodoo has got me intrigued.
Yeah.
What else is in this pasted text?
Let's move on to another solution.
Right.
This one sounds a little more intense, though.
Okay, I'm ready.
It's the triceps extension smash.
Smashing.
Okay, that sounds like it could be interesting.
What are we smashing?
So we're focused on releasing tension in the triceps.
Okay.
Remember, those are crucial for elbow function.
Right, right.
The text suggests a few tools for this.
Like what?
A barbell rollers.
Okay.
Or even a partner's foot.
Wait, a partner's foot?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I know, right?
I don't know if I trust anyone that much with my triceps.
It definitely takes trust
and
communication.
Right.
But the idea is to use targeted pressure on certain areas of the triceps. Like you're ironing out any knots or tightness.
This all sounds very hands-on.
Yeah, it is.
I assume there's a reason for all this, though.
Absolutely.
Okay.
The text is very specific about targeting certain areas.
Yeah, okay.
It all depends on your goals.
Okay.
So, for example, if you struggle with overhead mobility, you might want to focus on the long head of the triceps.
And why is that?
Well, that muscle,
yeah,
it's important for shoulder flexion and extension.
Makes sense.
So it's not about just smashing your triceps randomly.
Okay.
You have to think about which muscles are important for your specific needs.
I'm seeing how this could really help people with elbow issues.
Yeah, it can be a game changer.
Okay.
And what's really interesting
What's that?
is that the text compares tight triceps to tight quads.
Okay.
It helps you understand how muscles that seem far apart
can affect other parts of your body.
So like how tight quads can mess with your hips.
Exactly.
And that affects squats and other movements.
Right.
Okay.
And just like that,
yeah,
tight triceps can pull on your shoulder joint.
Interesting.
And that limits your range of motion.
So by smashing those tight spots, you can fix your alignment and improve movement overall.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is making me rethink mobility work.
Cool.
But before we go too deep,
you
mentioned chicken flapping earlier. During exercises like push presses.
Oh, right.
What does that mean?
Okay, so.
And how is it connected to tricep tightness?
So chicken flapping, it's basically when your elbows flare out.
Okay.
During push presses or overhead presses. And it usually means your triceps aren't strong enough to keep your elbows tucked in.
Gotcha.
So your form gets messed up.
Right.
And you could get hurt.
So instead of my elbows staying close to my body,
they stick out like chicken wings.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now, a lot of things can cause that. But tight triceps are a big one.
Okay.
So if you release that tightness and get more flexible, your elbows can stay in a better position.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like a chain reaction.
Right.
Tight triceps, elbows flaring out, then pain and problems.
Exactly.
So if you fix the triceps, you avoid all that.
You got it.
Okay, cool.
And that's why this triceps extension smash is so important.
Gotcha.
It fixes those tight spots.
Yeah.
Your muscles work better. You move better. And you're less likely to get hurt.
So tell me more about this smashing technique.
Sure.
What does the text say about using those tools?
So the main thing is finding those tight spots and pressing on them.
Okay.
Like you're ironing them out.
Right.
You can use a barbell, a foam roller, or even a lacrosse ball. And the text suggests trying different movements and angles.
Gotcha.
To make sure you're hitting all the right spots.
So it's not just lying on a foam roller and hoping for the best?
Nope.
Okay.
There's a technique to it.
Okay.
You got to find those trigger points, press on them, and then move your arm around to get a better release.
It sounds kind of like a massage.
It is a bit like that.
Yeah.
But you're also actively stretching.
Okay.
It can be uncomfortable sometimes, but it's worth it.
I can see how that would break up those knots and adhesions.
Exactly.
And don't forget the Superfriend option.
Oh, right.
So they're using their foot instead of a foam roller to hit those tight spots.
Exactly.
Okay.
The text says to use the arch of the foot. And you can change the pressure by using the heel or the ball of the foot.
Like a human foam roller?
I know, right?
Everyone needs a Superfriend.
They're pretty helpful.
Okay, so whether you're using a tool or a partner, it's all about communication.
Exactly.
You got to tell your partner if it's too much.
Right.
Safety first.
Always.
So before we move on,
sure,
let's talk about specific areas to target.
Okay.
You mentioned the long head of the triceps for overhead mobility.
Yeah.
What about other areas?
Well, if you're working on your front rack position for weightlifting, you want to target the lateral head of the triceps.
And where's that?
That's the part on the outside of your arm.
Okay.
It helps stabilize your elbow.
Gotcha.
When your arms are in that forward position.
So if I release that tightness, my front rack will be better.
Exactly.
And less pain.
Right.
And the text mentions other areas too.
It does.
Yeah.
For different grip patterns.
Oh, like
chin-ups versus a rack grip.
Okay.
It's really amazing how much detail there is to these techniques.
It really shows you how much we take our elbows for granted.
We do. Until something goes wrong.
Right.
But if we understand these connections and use these strategies, we can actually prevent problems.
And move better.
Exactly.
I think it's time for a quick break.
All right.
But don't go anywhere.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more elbow pain solutions.
Sound good.
Welcome back. I want to keep talking about these elbow solutions.
Sounds good.
And I'm really curious about forearms.
Oh, yeah.
I spend so much time at a keyboard.
I hear you.
I'm sure I'm not alone.
Definitely not.
So what does pasted text say about forearms?
Well, it says those tight forearms, they can cause wrist and elbow pain.
Okay.
Especially for people at desks all day.
Right.
Or doing repetitive movements.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
Simple stretching might not be enough.
You got it.
So what do we do instead of stretching?
Well, the text recommends what it calls forearm smash mobilizations.
Forearm smash mobilizations.
Okay.
It's all about using pressure and movement.
To release those knots and restrictions in your forearms.
So we're like ungluing those tight tissues.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
So tell me more about these forearm smash mobilizations. What do they look like?
So there are 4 different options.
Okay.
Each one targets different areas.
Okay.
And uses different tools.
Gotcha.
Let's start with the forearm tack and twist.
Forearm tack and twist. All right.
This one uses a lacrosse ball.
Oh.
Which a lot of people probably have.
Yeah, probably. So, all right, I got my lacrosse ball.
You'll need a table or a desk.
Okay.
Somewhere you can rest your forearm.
Okay.
Then you press the lacrosse ball into the top of your forearm.
Okay.
Right near your elbow.
So I'm pinning the tissue down.
Exactly.
All right, and what about the twist part?
So while you're pressing down,
yeah,
you slowly rotate your forearm.
Okay.
Inwards and outwards.
So I'm twisting those tissues around the ball.
Exactly.
Okay.
That helps break up those adhesions. And it improves mobility in your wrist muscles.
Interesting.
You can also try flexing and extending your wrist.
Okay.
While you're pressing down.
Oh, okay.
To hit different parts of the muscles.
I can already feel the tension releasing.
Right.
It's perfect for those tight spots from typing.
Yeah.
You can do it right at your desk.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so what's next?
All right, so the next option is the forearm extensor smash.
Forearm extensor smash.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one uses yoga tune-up balls.
What are those?
They're a little softer
and
grippier than lacrosse balls.
So maybe a bit gentler?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But it still gets deep.
Okay.
So you put the outside of your forearm between 2 of those yoga tune-up balls.
Okay.
And you use your body weight to press down and roll your forearm back and forth.
That sounds good for those tight spots from typing or even gripping weights.
Right.
How much pressure should you use?
It's really important to listen to your body.
And adjust the pressure.
Right.
It should feel good.
Okay.
But not painful.
And like with any of these techniques, if you have any health problems, you should talk to a doctor first.
Exactly.
All right, what about option 3?
Option 3 is the forearm stack and smash.
Okay, forearm stack and smash. What's that one?
This one gets a little more intense.
Okay, how?
So you use 2 lacrosse balls stacked on top of each other.
2 lacrosse balls?
Yeah.
That sounds intense.
It can be.
What's the advantage of stacking them?
So when you stack them, you get a smaller point of contact.
Okay.
So you can really focus the pressure.
Oh, okay.
It's good for those deep trigger points.
So it's like a deep tissue massage.
Yeah.
And the text says it's not just about pressing.
Right.
You have to move your wrist and forearm too.
Exactly.
Okay.
That helps release those restrictions even more.
I'm noticing a theme here.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about the pressure.
Right.
You got to move too.
It's all about getting those muscles working. Okay. And improving blood flow.
Gotcha.
So the tissues can move properly again.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so option 4.
This is the Superfriend forearm smash.
The Superfriend is back.
I know, right?
They're in all these techniques.
It seems like it.
So what do they do this time?
So your Superfriend uses the arch of their foot to press on your forearm. They can use their heel or the ball of their foot to change the pressure.
It's a human foam roller again.
Pretty much.
This all sounds really effective.
Yeah.
But a little intimidating too.
It can be.
Any tips for adding these to my routine?
The best thing to do is to try them out.
Okay.
And see what feels good for you.
Right.
You could add 1 or 2 to your warm-up or cool down a few times a week.
Okay.
Or if you have specific pain, you can focus on the techniques that target those areas.
This is great for desk workers.
Yeah, it can really help.
So you said earlier that stretching isn't always enough for tight forearms. Why is that?
It's because of the way the tissues work.
Okay.
When muscles and fascia get really tight, they can stick together like they're glued.
So stretching just won't cut it.
You got it.
Okay.
You need something more.
Like smashing or flossing.
Right.
To break those tissues apart.
Yeah.
I wonder if that happens in other parts of the body, too.
That's a great question.
Maybe we rely too much on stretching.
It's possible.
Yeah.
And forget about these other techniques that could be more effective.
I'm definitely going to pay more attention to that.
Yeah, me too.
This has been really eye-opening.
I'm glad.
I'm already thinking about adding these to my routine.
Awesome.
What else does this pasted text tell us?
Let's switch gears a little.
Okay.
And talk about archetypes.
Archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
How does that relate to elbows?
So the text uses archetypes to show how different movements...
Give me an example.
Like pressing overhead.
Okay.
Or holding a front rack position. They can be affected by tightness.
Okay.
In the triceps and forearms.
So someone with a weak front rack might have tight lateral triceps.
Exactly.
And someone with pain during overhead pressing.
Right.
Might have tight long head triceps.
It could be.
Or tight forearms.
Exactly.
So it's about looking at the whole movement, not just the muscles themselves.
You got it.
It's like a roadmap for fixing elbow pain.
I like that.
We find the root cause, see the connections, and then use the right techniques.
Exactly.
I love it.
Me too.
We've covered so much.
We have.
VooDoo flossing, tricep smashing, forearm mobilizations, and now archetypes.
It's a lot.
Elbows are complicated.
They are.
Yeah.
But it just shows you.
What's that?
How connected our bodies are.
True.
A little problem in one place can cause problems somewhere else.
So we got to fix the root cause, not just the symptoms.
Exactly.
I love that.
Me too.
Okay, so we've got one more technique.
Oh, yeah.
From the pasted text. It's called banded elbow distraction.
Banded elbow distraction.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of scary.
I know.
But interesting, too.
If it helps with elbow pain, I'm all in.
All right.
So where do we start? Okay, so let's talk about this banded elbow distraction.
Oh, sure.
Sounds kind of sci-fi.
Yeah, it does a little.
But if it helps my elbows, I'm interested.
For sure.
What is it exactly?
So picture this.
Okay.
You loop a band around your forearm right below your elbow.
Okay.
And you attach the other end to something sturdy.
Like a rack or a wall.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm pulling my forearm away from my upper arm.
That's right.
And that's the distraction.
You got it.
Okay.
You create tension with the band by pushing away from that anchor point.
Right.
And that gently pulls your elbow joint apart.
Earlier, we talked about tight muscles and fascia. Does this distraction help with that too?
It can.
Okay.
But in a different way.
How so?
So smashing and flossing, they work directly on those tissues.
Right.
But distraction, it creates space inside the joint.
Okay.
So everything can move better.
Like the bones and cartilage.
And the tissues around the joint.
So it's like giving those tissues a break.
Yeah. You could say that.
Okay, so we're creating space.
Right.
But how do we move?
So while you have that tension on the band, you start moving your elbow.
Like bending and extending.
Exactly. And you can even rotate your forearm.
So I'm not just holding a stretch.
No.
I'm actively moving.
Exactly.
While keeping that distraction.
You got it.
Okay.
And here's the cool part.
What's that?
The text says, changing your grip on the band.
Okay.
Changes the muscles you're working.
Interesting.
Like a chin-up grip will feel different than a pull-up grip.
So I can adjust it to what I need.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How much tension should I use?
Start with a light band.
Okay.
And slowly increase the tension.
Over time.
As you feel better.
Okay.
You should feel a pull, but not pain.
Not too little.
Just
like Goldilocks.
Exactly.
Remember that paperclip analogy?
Oh, yeah.
It takes a few bends to break a paperclip.
Yeah.
And it takes time to change your elbow.
That's a great way to put it.
So consistency is key.
Definitely.
But let's be real.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want a quick fix.
I know what you mean.
Is there ever a time when regular stretching is better?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Stretching is still great for flexibility and warming up.
Okay.
But if you have chronic tightness or pain, these other techniques are better.
Gotcha.
For getting to the root of the problem.
So it's about having different tools and knowing when to use them.
Exactly.
Oh, that was a deep dive.
We covered a lot.
VooDoo flossing, tricep smashing,
forearm mobilizations,
banded distraction.
Are two types.
Elbows are more complex than I thought.
They really are.
So what's the main takeaway for everyone listening?
Elbow pain doesn't have to control your life.
I like that.
If you understand those connections and use these techniques and listen to your body, you can have healthy elbows.
And move without pain.
Exactly.
Thanks for all the insights.
Of course.
And thanks to everyone listening.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Remember, if you have any serious pain or medical conditions, talk to a doctor first.
Yeah, always good advice.
That's all for this deep dive.
See you next time.